peace with the fact that I will sit very dutifully, respectfully on this panel and not mess up his entire evening. So yes, now you can go ahead and talk to me.
Ma'am, you're very kind.
You have no options but to say that.
Ma'am, you've represented India on various global platforms, including the World Economic Forum in Davos.
I continue to do it. Because every time I have something read about me, it almost feels like an obituary. So I'm just making a fact. It's not that I used to, still am 49, alive, kicking. Don't ask me who I'm kicking, but go ahead.
Ma'am, while engaging with these international leaders, what key global trends do you feel we should, as entrepreneurs in India, align with for the coming decade?
There is now no certainty of a trend, and you have to be perceptive enough to agree to it. You have Borge on the screen right now. He's the president of the World Economic Forum. The idea is that come at the confluence of the world are not quintessentially only economic ideas, only trade opportunities, but thought leaders and policymakers from around the world, they come together who are not subjected to just one constitutional position, but have a wider gamut of experiences. So there was a presumption that if you go to the World Economic Forum, you will know what the world will do in the next year, and then you go back and keep being a part of the churn. What has happened at the last World Economic Forum was that there was this conversation across all boulevards that generative AI will see the next standard, and WEF, we had DeepSeek, which broke through. And I think that changed the entire context of what technology and trade now will be about. There is not a soul on the planet who can tell you what's next in terms of technology, because it's only after that technology is introduced to market that most academicians and then enterprise finds out about it. The challenge now is that before DeepSeek, technology was about sustainability. Technology was about bringing the world closer. Now technology has become a national security concern. We have to be mindful of the fact that given the export control regime in the US, especially with regards to GPUs, today 30 to 32% of the world is not connected to the internet. And that whole proportionality, when you look at it in terms of numbers, if you look at just the enterprise software, 85% of the world has not created that enterprise software. What we end up creating is applications on top of the software. So given that anomaly, or given that disparity, we will always be, whichever is the 85% of the world which does not own the enterprise software, we will always wait for the next introduction of the next leg of software. And that is how enterprise will get affected. For instance, Microsoft has spent 17 years perfecting the quantum chip. Now, whoever is into quantum computing, they will know that the quantum chip is based on a new topology, where two matters are not fusing but existing side by side. Now, that's a revolution in science, which will, when it's applicable, let's say, to healthcare. Normally in healthcare, drug discovery or pharma discovery happens after years in a lab. Here the chip will already compute and do in a lab, let's say in 1 year, what normally would have taken at least a decade and a half to do. So till that one quantum chip, let's say, comes into healthcare, you will not know what disruptions will happen in terms of discovery, not only of new drugs, but also how you can create new pairings of pharmaceuticals that can answer to old conditions of ill health. So that is why anybody who gives you a very stoic answer, which is very definite, actually may not understand the massive impact that disruption in technology is bringing to enterprise. That's a loaded answer, my apologies.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, many women entrepreneurs today face the balancing act of work, family, and societal pressure. What would your advice be to the women of today
Don't
who
take
are trying
advice.
to
Seriously. Have you ever seen three men sitting together and asking each other what advice we should give other men? We always do it with women, as though men don't need advice. But you'll never see one man saying it to another man. So my personal opinion is, you know your capacities best, whether you're a man or a woman. You know your circumstances best, whether you're a man or a woman. You know how much of the envelope you can push, how far. Make those decisions for yourself because you get to live with those consequences. Nobody else that gets to live with the failure or the success. You do. And we are very harsh as humanity when we judge people from the prism of success and failure. We do not recognize that most legends are made not out of consistent success, but the fact that they failed and they've got back up and they've started working again. So man or woman does not matter. Most people ask for advice. What would you advise yourself when you were younger? Every human being gives their best to succeed in that given moment in time. No human being tells themselves, अच्छा आज अपने लिए कम करता हूँ या कम करती हूँ, so that I may fail. Everybody is trying to succeed in that given moment. And you're trying to succeed with that given knowledge or experience you have. So never second guess yourself. I've never sought anybody's advice because the advice I was given at 17 was, "Arey, get the girl married, she's no good. कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा इससे." I was given that advice when I was 22. You won't manage. I fought my first Lok Sabha election when I was 27 from Chandni Chowk, which was not designed to make the BJP win. In fact, it was a losing seat. And at 27, I had some Maharathis tell me, "Acha, you're done. तुमसे कुछ नहीं हो पाएगा." In 2014, when I fought Amethi, and nobody wins Amethi, it was a consistent loss. They said, "अरे बलि का बकरा, कुछ नहीं होगा." I was a two-time MP already, but it didn't matter. What mattered to people was, "Acha, you kind of did make it in 14." It didn't matter that I was the youngest minister in the history of India to take the